Hi everyone! Welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. This is my second practice time for my easier piano version of Bohemian Rhapsody. I actually looked around before I made this version and I saw that mostly what was available out there were like not playable computer generated versions. So I decided to make one that's actually playable by human hands and won't take, 5 years to learn. So that's what I mean by easier piano. If you haven't watched the first practice time yet, you should probably do that before you attempt this one. If you do go to the first one, just make sure that you read the comment that I pinned to the very top. When I recorded that one, I was super tired and I made some really silly mistakes just from not paying attention. But in that top comment, I let you know what those mistakes are so that you can correct them as you're watching that tutorial. If you don't have the sheet music yet, you can get it at the link below this video. You should get the sheet music even if you don't read music or you don't read it well, because this is such a long song with so many different parts, and without a map to follow, it can get a little bit frustrating. So sheet music is basically a map, and you can make notes for yourself on that sheet music and know kind of where we are in the tutorial. And then when you practice by yourself, you'll have something to go by. If you want to learn how to read sheet music, or you want to get better at it and learn how to apply it to playing the piano, check out my instant piano course or piano boot camp. All those links are below this video as well. Okay, if you're ready to learn how to play Bohemian Rhapsody, the second part, keep watching. I'm starting at the very end of measure 14, so just the last two notes. The second finger is on A. Now, this thing coming up, we're going to do it a few times, so let's get used to this motion, which is you kind of twist over your own hand with your second finger. All right, so this is measure 15, watch. Notice that I'm not doing a big over or any weird scrunchy thing. I'm just like folding like that, folding over my thumb and going as close to the keys as possible. You want to stay close if your intention is to play quickly. So we don't have a whole lot of time. That means we want to stay close to the keys. We don't have time to go like this, okay? And it's not even necessary to do that. So here's measure 15. Then we do the same thing, but without the octave, just from the bottom up. Dog hairs. And then again at measure 17. Now, in the next measure, we have the same kind of going over our thumb, but with different notes. So our starting notes were different. Then, again, same motion, different notes. And then we walk it back. So here, do you see we didn't fold over? We just stretched over. And now, people ask me, what about this stretch? It's really weird, it's awkward, it hurts. It shouldn't. What I do, because my fingers are thin enough that I can go in between the keys, I slide. So notice that the piano keys are slippery, and that's really good for us because we can slide around on them. You can't slide if you're pressing. So if you're having trouble sliding, that's a huge clue that you're playing with tension. So don't do that. Relax. You don't have to push down. So here I am, and I slide and I hook my second finger on that black key so it does not go anywhere. Oops. and yeah, that's what I did. And then that way. Okay? So I go over. I don't do this. That's weird. Now, if your fingers can't get in between the keys, get as close as you can. Maybe till there. Okay? Also, my fingers are really short. I have small hands, so I need to do these kind of tricks where I hook on. If you have bigger hands, you can just kind of cover it over, okay? From here, now I'm in measure 20. I pick up and move down. And I'm folding over again, just like we did before. Here's measure 23. This is easy, just stepping down. So let me play that much without talking and you can see it. I'll go slowly so you can really see what I'm doing. Here we go. This is the last two notes of measure 14. Another way I can say that as a musician is pick up to measure 15. And a musician will understand that it's the note or two notes going in, or a few notes, depending on what's happening, going into the next measure. So pick up to measure 15 means the last two notes before measure 15. I don't know if you're hearing anything, if the microphone is picking up, but Elvis just ate a very delicious lunch and he's rubbing himself on the carpet because he's happy. All right, the right hand, starting on measure 15, just playing octaves here. So when you're going octave to octave like that, don't do this. Or even worse, oh my gosh, don't do that. You're asking for trouble if you play like this. Relax, let your wrist absorb all the impact of playing. Right? Just like that. Okay, then you do the same thing in measure 16. Measure 17 is the melody. And you throw in some arpeggios back to the melody. So you can see here that the melody is in the right hand, but the right hand's also helping with the accompaniment or the background parts. I'm going to put those together without any pedal so you can see how it all fits. Okay, so I'll do it with pedal and I'll tell you where I'm changing. So I had picked up the pedal in the first section. If you haven't watched the first tutorial, you should probably do that unless you already know that part. But so there's no pedal to start with. And then put down the pedal here. change, 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 change. As I talked about in the first tutorial for this song, you want to bring out the melody as much as possible. Bring out means make it sound louder than whatever else is happening. Within context, like you're not just going to bang out the melody no matter what, right? So if you're playing like a quiet section, the melody has to be quiet as well, but it can't be as quiet as what's happening underneath. I'm going to play it for you without bringing out the melody, just so you can hear the subtle differences, okay? You can see it just kind of becomes like a soup of notes. You might think that sounds pretty good, and it is. It's not bad, but it's not great. So, you know, when you listen to some pianists and you go, wow, they're amazing, and it might be because they're playing fast, or it might be because they're playing in a way that really speaks to you, that touches your soul or your heart, or however you want to put it. And those pianists that touch your soul are the ones that make the little differences that the okay pianists don't. And one of them is to play with musical expression, one of the ways to make it sound really good. And so part of musical expression is kind of making it clear to your listeners what they should be listening for, okay? It's like if a photographer is taking a picture, they put the lighting, or they arrange the lighting in such a way that they highlight what you want to see, and they put in shadows the things that they don't want you to look at as much, right? So it's the same thing when you're designing with sound, which is what playing music is. All right, now I'm gonna move on and do the left hand, starting on measure 25. Here we're gonna fold over again. So when I play repeated notes, I want to make sure that I'm not just using my finger to push down. I'm using my arm to lower the weight of my arm. And basically, it's just going like this, but I let the weight of my arm fall into my fingertip, like that. Okay? Moving on, this is measure 29. Using my arm, letting my wrist bend. Pretty straightforward. Watch that as many times as you need to. I'm going to go on and do the right hand, and this is measure 25. Melody. This is not melody. This is melody. measure 32. You see that I switched to 2/4 for one measure instead of 4/4. So Freddie Mercury did a lot of really interesting things with rhythm and timing in this song, as you know. And I simplified it as much as I could, but I couldn't simplify this because it actually is a longer measure than 4/4. I could have put it as a 6/4 measure, or I could have done as a 4/4 and a 2/4. I did a 4/4 and a 2/4. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. If you want to know what it means, you can take my online courses, either Instant Piano or Piano Boot Camp, and then you'll understand what's happening with all the theory stuff here. So I'll pick it up again at measure 31. Here's measure 32, and it's really short. It's only 2 counts. All right. Putting the hands together, super slow, no pedal just now. Okay, so the fingering that I'm using isn't the right fingering. It isn't the wrong fingering. It's a fingering choice. So if you find fingering that works better for you, do it. Try what I've got recommended in my sheet music or here. And if it doesn't work for you, or if you're just wanting to try other options, go for it. Okay, now I'm going to play that much with pedal. So you were holding the pedal from before. You're going to change the pedal right on the first beat here. Change. 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 Now, lift it up and don't put it back down. Put it down now here. Change. 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 Okay, I'll play it from the beginning of this video, which is the pickup to measure 15, and I won't say anything. How did you do? Pretty good? Remember, it takes a little bit of practice every day to add up to really significant results. So don't get frustrated and keep working at it. We'll do it together. Just make sure that you consistently practice every day. If you have to miss a day, that's fine. If you have to miss 2 days, that's not as good. 3 days, no, you're losing a lot of memory between those practice sessions. Let me know how you're doing. If you have any requests, I have a huge request list right now, but I still want to know what you're interested in because it helps me to plan ahead. Find me on social media. On Instagram, I'm at The Piano Keys, TPK. On Facebook, The Piano Keys, and my website is thepianokeys.com. Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye.